Join me
Yes,
now
ma'am.
from Tel Aviv, Will Wechsler, Senior Director of the Rafik Hariri Center and Middle East Programs at the Atlantic Council. Thank you, sir, for being with us at this hour. You arrived in Tel Aviv, I understand, in the last day. Describe what you're seeing.
Sure. I came to Tel Aviv because we were going to host a conference that would involve senior Israeli officials and senior officials from the Arab world to talk about regional economic integration. Of course, that conference is canceled because when I arrived in Israel, it was a different country because of the Hamas attack. What's going to happen here is going to be very different than the previous rounds of conflict between Israel and Hamas. There's likely to be a ground incursion. It is going to take a significantly longer period of time. The last round of exchanges of fire, I think we're over in around 5 days. This one is going to be counted in weeks, not days.
You also have said that Hamas lost this war the moment it decided to start it. How so?
There is really no comparison between the military capabilities of Hamas and the military capabilities of Israel. And that's why, from a military perspective, they've already lost this war. There's only really one way that Hamas can have some kind of achievement of its strategic goals, and that's to expand the war. So it's not just an Israel-Hamas war, but it turns into a second front in the West Bank, an internal front if there's problems, if there's riots, as we have seen before, and most importantly, a northern front. And we've seen some fire being exchanged in the north recently, but Hezbollah has much greater military capabilities than Hamas does. And if Hezbollah decided to get into a fight, it would turn what is right now a single front campaign into a wider regional war.
Yeah, you're echoing what many are concerned about in regards to Hezbollah. Does the fact, though, that Hamas is holding hostages change the strategy for Israel?
It'll change it in a number of respects. Israel's never confronted this scale, this number of hostages, and Israel has a track record of exchanging literally 1,000 Hamas people that are in jails for one Israeli. That's the kind of exchange rate that has been set in this grim accounting. I talk to people in Israel, and they don't really know how the Israeli public will react if, when the fight gets underway, Israeli hostages start dying as a result of it. That's a big unknown. Another big unknown is not only many of these hostages are not Israeli. Many are dual citizens of other countries. Some are likely to be just foreigners altogether. It's also unclear how the world will react if, in the fighting that's to come, some foreign nationals die as well.
We have to deal with the now, but the question is being asked, and important that it is, the sophistication of this attack, that thousands of people were aware of it, yet intelligence did not pick it up. What do you make of that fact moving forward with Israel and the strategy from the U.S. and other allies?
You know, I've spent a lot of my career complaining when people go on television and call everything that happens in the world an intelligence failure. In this case, it was. In this case, Israel has as one of its highest targets to understand Hamas's both capability set and their operational plans and their tactical approaches. Every one of those was wrong. They weren't expecting this attack. They weren't expecting the kinds of operations they weren't expecting the tactics that was done. There will be an accounting and an understanding of over time about how this was missed. But that's a reality.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.